What's up, guys? Byron is back. Welcome back to the Afro Crypto channel. If you haven't yet, click the subscribe down button down below and make sure so that you don't miss any of this amazing content that we create at Afro Crypto. Today, I'm going to talk about Civic. Um, as if you can see on my screen, Civic, is number 57 right now on CoinMarketCap, and they have a market capitalization of $113 million, and a Civic coin costs 30 cents. Yeah, roughly 30 cents. So, what is Civic all about, and what are they trying to do? So, Civic is trying to solve problems in the personal verification space. I think about this. Every time you go to, let's say you go to a bank and you're trying to open up a new account. When you're trying to open up a new account, they'll ask you for your ID, what your name is, obviously, what your ID is, social security number, whether you have bank accounts in other organizations. They collect all this data, and if you can't provide them with like this information, you won't be able to get an account. And I guess that I can say with certainty that all banks everywhere in the world do this, whether you're in the US, China, South Africa, India, Russia, anywhere, banks do this because they'd have to follow regulations. There is a regulation, I believe, called Know Your Customer, KYC, that banks have to follow. So banks do this and they collect all this information. But it's funny because if you go to a bank, they collect that information from you. If you try to open up a PayPal account, they would collect the same information from you. If you go to, let's say you're trying to open up an Amazon account, they'll collect information, though Amazon won't ask for your social security number. They won't ask for as much information as banks ask for, but they'll ask for information, some more information. This goes for Yahoo, it goes for Google, it goes for Facebook, it goes for like companies that are offline and online that are trying to do businesses with people. Like it goes for like every type of company that I can think about. Now, all these companies might be partners in like the different kinds of businesses that they do, but they still act in silos. What do I mean by that? If Amazon collects this data, only Amazon uses it. If Bank of America collects this data, only Bank of America uses it. If say Santander Bank or Citizen Bank or Google or Facebook, like if these guys collect this information, it's only them that use it. So now what you find is that people have like their information in like multiple places. You have your like if you're using the internet or if you're using social media, you find that you have like your information on Instagram, you have it on Facebook, you have it on Google, you have it on Yahoo, you have like information in like different places, and the only central thing, I wouldn't say central, the common factor in all this information is basically one thing. It's you. You're the person that they're trying to collect this information about. So you'd have to like identify yourself in so many different places, and yet you're the same person. Now, there is like advantages and disadvantages to companies doing this. Sometimes they genuinely need the information that they're trying to collect. Sometimes it's due to regulation. They have to collect this information. So there is like advantages to doing that and disadvantages to doing that, because sometimes they collect information that you don't actually think they would need to be able to provide that service. But if they don't have that information, bye bye. If you can't give it to them, you won't be able to sign up and use their service because they need the information. Now, Satoshi, in his white paper, his original white paper about Bitcoin, say that because we use the internet and there is no trust on the internet, um, businesses hassle customers for information that they don't even need, but because they need to establish a level of trust between them and the customer, which doesn't exist, they have to collect all this information about the customers so they know what type of customers that they have. Now, with that said, there is like a very innovative company called Civic. I know some of you have already had Civic. They had an ICO, I think in July, or I don't remember specifically when, and they were able to raise $33 million. And the thing they were going to do is they were going to get your information and they would put it on the blockchain. So if you could go, you can see like on my screen right now, I'm scrolling the Civic website. They have a short video that explains how their project works. You can like click and watch the video to like be able to understand it for yourself. But after reading their white paper and reading and watching the video, I guess I can say that basically I also signed up for their application. I have the application on my phone for identification. If you can see on my phone, that's like, it's not very clear, but that's the Civic app. What they do is that they collect this information about you, information that say banks, like any kind of information that like people would need. Say banks, they collect your name, your ID, your date of birth, email address, like all this kind of information, and they would put this information on the blockchain. Now, businesses, because businesses, let's say if I go to Bank of America right now and I need to open up a new account, they would collect this information on me. But after collecting this information, that's not where they stop. They would have to do background checks. Now, if in the same week, I open up an account in Bank of America, and I also open up an account in, say, Santander Bank, Santander Bank has to do to carry out a background check on me, and Bank of America has to do a background check on me. So that means that these two businesses, and I think in the Civic white paper, they estimate that the cost of a background check is like $20. So it means that if Bank of America was able to identify me first and verify my information, then Santander Bank is also trying to do the same thing. It means that they're spending money, but they're trying to identify someone. They're trying to identify me, and yet some other business has already identified me, and they have this information. So what Civic is trying to do is that they would get this information, my information. After getting my information, they would go to, say, Bank of America, if I have an account with Bank of America, and they would ask Bank of America to encrypt my information on the blockchain, right? So now, if my information is on the blockchain, and I walk into Citizen Bank and I'm trying to open up a new account, Citizen Bank will just get my name, and then it will go to Civic and say I need this information. I need to find if like I have like any information about me that has already been collected by another business on the blockchain. Let's say Bank of America has already put my information on the blockchain. So instead of Citizen Bank spending $20 to identify me again, they would pay some money to Amazon. They pay some money to Citizen Bank. They pay some money to Bank of America, and Bank of America would be able to share this information with them. But that's not the end of the game. Now, if I have the Civic app, and someone from Citizen Bank is trying to verify my account that's on Civic, Civic would send me a notification, and they would say, this company is trying to get this information about you. They would only send when they send me that notification, I would either approve that they share my information with a Citizen Bank, or I would disapprove, guys. So I was saying that they would make sure that only information that I approve to be shared between Bank of America and Citizen Bank is actually shared with Citizen Bank, and I think that's a very good solution, because first of all, these companies won't be spending so much money. So Civic will be getting some of the money that these companies would potentially spend. Bank of America will get some money for being able to collect and share this information. And me, as a consumer participating in this Civic community, I would also be able to get some money for sharing my information. How beautiful is that? So I believe that's like a very good idea for like the identification market, because people care so much about making sure that their information is not shared in places that they wouldn't approve. So this helps protect people's identity, and it's very, very interesting. I love this project. But then after looking at that, there is another project that I was looking at that's kind of similar to Civic. If you can see on my screen, I'm scrolling down on Unify.id. The project is called Unify ID, and what these guys basically do is that they use machine learning and neural networks, and deep learning, and they develop algorithms that help collect identifiable information about you. What do I mean by that? First of all, you'd go to, if you're really interested to learn about this project, they also have a short video on their website. If you go to their website, you can be able to see it. Like, they clearly articulate the idea that they're trying to build on. And they also have the how they would do this, how they would be able to like collect identifying information about you, is that you download the application and install it on your phone, and then you give them the basic information that they ask for, name, age, blah blah blah, that kind of information. Then after that, that's all you have to do. Now the application will like keep running on your phone, and when it's running, it's collecting other information. So they'll collect things like your breathing rate, how fast your heart beats, what's the size of your guide, how long do you sleep, and when do you sleep, do you go to the gym? Like they're able, because you're always with your phone, like the phone is able to pick up like different activities. Say your heart rate, if your heart rate is like beating so fast, and this happens every Thursday, they would know, oh, he's now exercising. If say you sleep at the same time every day, let's say you sleep at 10 p.m. and you wake up at 6 a.m., they'll be able to know that between this time and this time your phone is not active, so you're sleeping. And they want to be able to like project this idea to identity, personal identity, like online and offline. They're working with, they showed on their website, they showed that they were working with banks to make sure that people that steal identification information online can't be able to log into people's accounts. They would also be working with companies, like they say they're working with Fortune 500 companies and the top 2,000 companies globally to make sure that they solve this problem of identity, right? Now, why do I talk about Unify ID? In my view of things and in my understanding, I feel like Unify ID and Civic are actually trying to they're trying to compete for the same market. Now, I don't know who's going to successfully take over the market, but I believe that they are both good solutions, and you should be able to check them out. If you're interested in Civic, definitely check out Unify ID. The only thing about Unify ID is that they're not on the blockchain, and they don't have any tokens, and I don't think they are a cryptocurrency company. But be sure to check them out, and that's where I'll stop today. Be sure to leave your comments. Leave your comments in the comment section down below. Ask your questions. Suggest ideas of things that you want me to work on. And if you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button. And I will be right with you. Bye bye.